Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another exciting module here in Biology 102, where we want to be able to break down the wonders of biology one module at a time. And so today, or this week, we are diving into one of the most fundamental and fascinating concepts in all of biology, and one that we've also already started to investigate. We are going to climb the tree of life starting this week. And I promise this isn't just some static, dusty diagram that we will systematically work through, but it's a living, evolving blueprint that tells the story of every single organism on Earth, including you and me. But what's the family tree of life? Well, we've talked about it before already. And so let's start with the basics to review. Well, when we talk about the family tree of life, it's just like your own family tree. It connects you to your parents, your grandparents, but eventually your distant relatives. And the tree of life does just that, only with all the different plants and animals found on our planet on a massive scale. It helps us visualize and connect to deep evolutionary processes between organisms, whether they're, let's say, a giant redwood, a blue whale, or even some of the smallest units of life on our planet, the cells, or microscopic bacteria. We're all interconnected. And if you were able to trace your family tree through history, you might find some surprising connections. And that's where we want to be able to approach our upcoming modules is through connections. You might think of it like finding a long lost cousin or a distant relative from another country. It's the same phenomena, and we might actually look at the world in a new light. Diversity on our planet, let's say a mushroom or a paramecium at a molecular level, you can still see somewhat of a common ancestor that goes back millions of years. And that's one of the reasons why we approach this part of the class from a systematic standpoint. We want to be able to look at the evolutionary branches that comprise of many of the different broad groups found on our planet. And much like some of our units that we've encountered before and ones that you may have encountered already in Biology 101, we use a visualization tool um, to map these relationships. It's called a phylogenetic tree. And this tree is divided into three massive domains of life. You have the bacteria, the archaea, and even eukarya. And now within the eukarya, that's where things get really interesting because this is the domain that contains things like the fungi, the protists, plants, and even animals. And we're going to systematically investigate this group in our module this week and continue on with our learning journey. The mushrooms, also known as the fungi, are considered to be Earth's great decomposers. If you picture a mushroom, you're only seeing the tip of the iceberg. Most of a fungus actually exists underground or within decaying material in the form of an intricate thread-like network called mycelium. And fungi play an essential role in ecosystems as decomposers. They break down dead organic material and recycle nutrients back into the soil, allowing for ecological equilibrium. Without them, life as we know it may actually collapse. Nutrients won't be cycled efficiently, and dead matter essentially will just pile up. Fascinating fungi would be the mycorrhizal fungi. These form symbiotic relationships with plant roots, exchanging nutrients, and even allow trees to talk to each other in forests. There's also the infamous death cap mushroom, Artemisia phallonoides, which produces one of the deadliest toxins known to science. There's also the mold, Penicillium, which led to the discovery of penicillin itself and revolutionized medicine and saving millions of lives because of this product and our connection to this group. And fungi just are decomposers. Some act even as parasites, like the cordyceps fungus, which infects insects and literally takes control of their bodies. Think of it like the recent TV show, The Last of Us, where the cordyceps fungus actually infected humans in that show. Because of that connection, well, it shows that we do have a mutual ancestor. Then we can also discuss this week about the protists, also known as nature's wild cards on the tree of life. This is where things get really weird, though. Protists are a diverse group of mostly single-celled eukaryotic organisms that don't quite fit into the animal, plant, or fungal kingdoms. Some actually act as plants, performing photosynthesis, while others behave like tiny little animals, swimming around and eating each other. We have to ask a fundamental question about the phenomena. Why are protists important? Well, even though they're tiny, protists are considered to be powerhouses in ecosystems. Some are the foundation of food chains, while others influence major global processes like carbon cycling. They, again, much like the fungi, provide an equilibrium for ecosystems and thus great ways for us to study a scientific model and investigate and learn more about it. Some amazing protists I like to share with you is the Unulina. It's a hybrid of plant and animal. It photosynthesizes like a plant, but actively hunts for food when light is scarce, showing us that life histories and behaviors can change on the smallest level. Phytoplankton in our oceans produce about 50% of the world's oxygen. And that's right, half of the air you breathe right now comes from a microscopic protist found deep in our ocean. On the darker side, though, the protist Plasmodium is responsible for malaria, a disease that has shaped human history for thousands of years. Then we also have groups like the bacteria and the archaea. These are the invisible architects of life. Bacteria and archaea, these are microbes that have been around for at least 3.5 billion years. That's more than 3/4 of Earth's history. Microbes are everywhere, from inside your body, in the soil, even deep within hydrothermal vents at the bottom of the ocean. They have some utility, though. For example, bacteria help us digest food, while others help plants fix the nitrogen in the soil. Archaea, meanwhile, are considered to be Earth's extremophiles. They thrive in boiling hot springs, salty lakes, and even inside volcanic vents. Some microbes that maybe you should know about is the bacterium Deinococcus radiodurans, which can survive extreme radiation doses that would actually typically kill a human instantly. It's basically a microscopic superhero. It's invincible. There's methogens, which are archaea that form in swamps, but also they make cows' tummies very, very gassy. And because they produce methane gas. But why does this all matter? Again, we have to go back to that tree of life and the interconnectedness of life itself. It's because these small organisms shape the planet we live on. They influence the climate, ecosystems, and even human health. And remember, we're not just not studying life, we're studying life forms into one another. The tree of life connects everything. You, me, and all the way down to these microbes at the base. And that's what we're going to want to be doing this week is working from that base of that tree all the way up into the tips as we progress from module to module throughout the semester. So, final thoughts. What's next? Well, next time you are out and about, think of this. When you see mold on a bread, mushroom in the woods, or even a puddle of water, think about the unseen world. Science We're always constantly discovering new species of fungi, protists, and microbes. Who knows what else is out there? And because we've already started to investigate the natural world around us, maybe even you may be in charge of that discovery. Now, I want to also hear from you. What's your favorite weird microbe, protist, or fungus? Send me an email for what you learn about this week as we touch base in different parts of the week. And I hope that you're going to love this week's deep dive into life's hidden branches. And don't forget that I want you to keep exploring the dynamic world around you. And as always, if you have any questions about the material this week, you can reach out via email, you can swing by my office, or let's set up a video chat and let's talk biology.